Race number 4 of the NASCAR Cup Series season is complete, and it brought us to the Arizona desert for the Straight Talk Wireless 500. In addition to the Circuit of the Americas race last weekend, the race at Phoenix is the second time NASCAR will have a higher horsepower package on the next-gen car, with 750 horsepower as opposed to 650 horsepower. In addition to the Cup Series on Sunday, we also had the ARCA Menard Series race on Thursday, the General Tire 150, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race on Saturday, the GovX 200, but before that, we also had the IndyCar Series race in a very rare doubleheader with the Cup Series, the Good Ranchers 250. Now, I'm not going to discuss the IndyCar race. There's other YouTubers who would discuss it better than me. We're here to focus on the NASCAR side of things. This race was a combination race with the ARCA Menard Series West, the only race Big ARCA and ARCA West will have all season long. Big ARCA will have some combo races with the East Series, but that's not till much later in the year. What's kind of surprising to me is that in the first half of this race, the ARCA West drivers were, for the most part, relegated to the top 20. None were in the top 10. Not yet anyway. However, after halfway, the ARCA West teams were able to gain some positions, some even finishing up high. Trevor Huddleston ended up being the highest finisher in 4th place. Mason Massey, after his win at Kern County Raceway Park, finished 5th. Taylor Mayhew, who finished 3rd at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, he finished 8th. Robbie Keneally, in the 41 machine, ended up finishing 10th. If you want a 2-word review on how this race went, I'll give it to you. ARCA brakes. Yes, ARCA brakes. Why would I say that? Well, let's see here. In the first 30 laps, we had 5 cautions. I'm not kidding. There was an accident on the first lap that involved 3 cars. One of them was Bobby Earnhardt. The other one was a fella who was driving a Mark Martin throwback. A spin by Dustin Hillenberg on lap 7. Let's keep a pin on him. He'll be important later. Eric Johnson Jr. and Isabella Robusto get together on lap 25. And Jade Avedissian loses power on lap 30. Talk about a busy first half of the race. And just when you think things have started to calm down after 5 cautions in the first half, including the scheduled halftime break, we have a 7-car pileup after lap 100. This all started when Taylor Mayhew and Mia Lovell got together on the front stretch, which caused Mia Lovell's tire to get cut down. Mia Lovell, on the exit of turn 2, cuts left at the worst possible moment because to her left is the pit road wall and to her right is the outside wall. So she spins in front of the pack and causes a major traffic jam and causes a lot of cars to pile up behind her. And if that wasn't bad enough, most of the people involved were the women in the field. Ouch. Hailie Deegan was somehow able to sneak her way through that and didn't suffer very much damage. The same cannot be said for Taylor Raymer in the 13 car, who wasn't even initially involved in the accident. She was way back, and she was hard on the brakes trying to avoid it, but just couldn't get slowed down in time and piled into it. To add insult to injury, most everyone who was involved in this accident was running in the top 15. Brutal. Carson Brown, who won the pole for this race, ended up leading every single lap but 2. Despite that, I say the race was still pretty good. There was a lot of side-by-side action all race long when they could keep it clean, which is nice to see in spite of the pole sitter leading every single lap. Carson Brown's day was almost ruined because, remember that pin I told you about? Here it is. Dustin Hillenberg, once again, spins by himself with less than 2 laps to go. This set up an overtime event where Carson Brown could have lost this race to Tristan McGee, who was tailing him hard all race long. Thankfully, Carson Brown was able to hang on and get the victory. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race on Saturday was held not in the morning like it usually is, but instead on Saturday night. The reason is because the IndyCar race was held that morning. During the race, there was some concern about the rubber that was laid down by the IndyCar drivers earlier that day. To the best of my knowledge, the rubber being laid down didn't play a factor in the race, thankfully. For reasons that are never explained, Rajat Karuv has to start today's race and the number 32 for Jordan Anderson Racing as opposed to the number 88 for Junior Motorsports. As far as I know, there was no explanation for why this happened. If I were to guess, bushwhacking is to blame, because William Byron is the one driving the 88 this week instead of Raja. You could tell that Jordan Anderson Racing was not on the same level as Junior Motorsports because Raja spent most of the day inside the top 20. Now, thankfully, he was able to fight back and finish in the top 10, which continues a streak the 32 car has started where they finished every race inside the top 10. But who knows how much better Raja would have done if he was allowed to race in the 88 this week. William Byron, who drove that car, was inside the top 5 all day, and if not for a late race accident, he might have finished higher. The dominant car all night long was Jesse Love, who would lead 112 laps. In addition to Jesse Love leading the most laps, Carson Kvapil also impressed in this race tonight, challenging Love for the lead on several different occasions. Sammy Smith also impressed tonight, getting a stage win. Corey Day surprisingly was able to keep his nose clean, and he finished 9th. One car that impressed me tonight is Jeb Burton, who is running top 10 all night long and would bring it home in 7th. The winner of the race was Justin Allgaier, who caught Jesse Love with 10 laps to go, took the lead from him, and never looked back. I don't like using the word choking, but my God, Jesse Love gave that one away. The win was his, and he just let it slip through his fingers. Ouch. The last time the Cup Series was at Phoenix was the infamous 2025 championship race where Denny Hamlin lost a title in heartbreaking fashion. But that's not why I brought it up. The reason I brought it up was because that race was running a new tire, and that tire ended up being a problem where several drivers had blowouts. Unfortunately, that problem continued into this race, with several cars having tire problems in practice, the main ones being on the right front or the left rear. Tyler Reddick had a problem, Chris Buescher had a problem, Brad Keselowski had a problem, Riley Herbst had a problem. Basically, it looked like Sunday was going to be a challenge for these drivers to keep the tires intact and not blow them out. A couple more headlines going into Sunday. Richard Childress Racing brought the 33 car back for this weekend. Austin Hill will drive it. And of course, Alex Bowman will not be competing this week due to suffering from symptoms of vertigo. Now, Hendrick Motorsports made it clear that Alex did not get these symptoms as a result of driving his race car, and he was not suffering from these symptoms at the race in Austin, Texas. It still sucks that Bowman will not be competing at his home track. Let's hope he gets better. The timeline, last I heard, was Bristol, but Bowman is on a week-by-week basis. For now, Anthony Alfredo will be driving the 48 car. Joey Logano is on the pole, and he'll lead the field to green. He'll lead lap 1, and he'll lead the next 48 laps. Stage 1 goes caution-free. Tyler Reddick, who had tire problems in practice, is in the top 5. The dominant team so far in Stage 1 is Team Penske, who at one point was 1, 2, and 3, with Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Austin Cindric. Ryan Blaney gets the lead on lap 49. Ryan Blaney will win Stage 1. Because of the tire problems that the drivers will be facing today, every time they come into the pits, they're going to be wanting 4 tires. Of course, that can change in the later half of the race, but for now, that's the strategy. Every pit stop, 4 tires and fuel. At the beginning of Stage 2, Christopher Bell is your leader. He won this race last year in dramatic fashion. He will go on to lead 176 laps today, the most laps of any driver today. Stage 1 went caution-free. Stage 2, not so much. It all starts on lap 93 when Kyle Busch blows a right front tire and hits the wall. The green flag stays out, and he's able to limp it back to pit road. The very next lap, Shane Van Gisbergen pops the tire, goes for a spin, and the caution comes out. Under this caution period, everyone comes in for tires and fuel, and Ryan Blaney has a bit of a problem. See, he left the pits with a loose wheel. He had to come in and fix it. The race resumes on lap 102. The very next lap, the caution comes back out because Daniel Suarez gets loose underneath Ryan Preece and collects Chase Elliott. Whoops! Chevy is not having a good day today. Granted, yes, some of this can be blamed on the new body that they have for this year, but at the same time, they are being outclassed by Toyota and especially Ford. It's not even funny. After fixing his loose wheel on pit road, Ryan Blaney is now up to 12th. He's clawing hard to get back to the front. Surely nothing can stop his momentum now, right? Right? Whoop, spoke too soon. Caution lap 132. Chase Briscoe pops a tire and hits the wall. Everyone comes in for 4 tires and fuel. Ryan Blaney has another loose wheel. Come on, man! Thankfully, he was able to fix it before leaving the pits. He went to the Joey Logano's pit stall to have it fixed. On the ensuing restart, Christopher Bell holds on to the lead. Fast forward several laps, and we have another caution for another tire problem. Noah Gragson pops a tire and hits the turn 1 wall. Though, as it turns out, it's his brake rotor that exploded, and it left bits and pieces all over the track. This meant several drivers, including William Byron, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Connor Zillage, and Michael McDowell, all had cut tires, not because their tires got too hot, but because they ran over the debris that came off of Noah Gragson's car. Christopher Bell will go on to win Stage 2. If Stage 1 was defined by being caution-free, and Stage 2 was defined by having a few cautions, Stage 3 will be defined by being the most chaotic stage of them all. It starts off small enough. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. accidentally bumps Connor Zillage. Connor Zillage turns down onto Ryan Preece, who then spins out. Everyone comes in for 4 tires and fuel. Well, everyone except Josh Berry and Chase Elliott, who both stay out. When the race resumes, Josh and Chase stay out front, and then Joey Logano does a bonsai move and gives Ross Chastain a shove on the front stretch. Ross shoots up the track, collects Austin Cindric and Anthony Alfredo, and destroys both of their cars. Now, Alfredo, I feel bad for because he was having a semi-decent day in the 48 car, but now his day is done. Austin Cindric, meanwhile, demonstrates why having the door number shifted forward so far is dumb. What number is he? I don't know. It's just a bright yellow Menards car. Oh, and not wanting to be upstaged, Bubba Wallace also demonstrates why the number placement is dumb, because he got some damage in that accident. What number is he? I don't know. It's got a feather on the hood and it's neon yellow. I don't know what number he is. On the ensuing restart, Christopher Bell takes the lead back from Josh Berry and Chase Elliott. 10 laps later, the caution comes back out, and it's a sequel of sorts. Once again, Kyle Busch loses a tire. He comes into the pits. No caution. The very next lap, Shane Van Gisbergen pops another tire and spins out. The caution comes out for him, not for Kyle Busch. See, it's like poetry. They rhyme. Or whatever George Lucas said. You know, despite all the setbacks Joey has placed on himself today, he is still determined to win this race. Unfortunately, karma has other plans, as AJ Allmendinger dumps Joey Logano, who then slides up the track and collects the 7, the 21, and the 9. Ouch! Christopher Bell still has the lead with 40 laps to go. I bring this up because tire problems are about to start up again. It starts off with Austin Hill losing a tire and diving on the pit road. Shortly after this, Connor Zillage also loses a tire and dives on the pit road. No caution yet. Third time is unfortunately not the charm, as Austin Dillon also loses a tire, but the caution comes out. Because it's towards the end of the race, this is where teams start to strategize. Some teams opt for 2 tires. Christopher Bell takes 4 tires. This 4-tire stop unfortunately means he'll have to start deep in the field. After leading the most laps of anyone today, Christopher Bell is now in a hole that he has to dig himself out of. Ryan Blaney was able to fight and claw his way back to the lead. He passed the equivalent of 40 cars today. Some surprise names in the top 10 as we enter the final laps of this race. Ty Gibbs, who has been a non-factor all day long, finds himself in the lead and up inside the top 5. Kyle Larson, who was in the top 5 in Stage 1, but was quiet in Stage 2, is back in the top 10 in Stage 3. Bubba Wallace, who had crash damage, is back inside the top 10 as well. We have one more caution on lap 294. and that's when Zane Smith spins after contact with John Hunter Nemechek. Christopher Bell, who started deep in the pack after taking 4 tires, now finds himself in second with less than 10 laps to go. But is he going to run out of laps? We're about to find out. White flag is out, final lap at Phoenix. Team Penske has been known to dominate this racetrack during the championship races. But can they pull it off today in the spring race? Coming off turn 4 for the final time, Ryan Blaney will win the Straight Talk Wireless 500. This is Ryan's second consecutive win at Phoenix, coming off his win at the Phoenix race in November. Defending winner Christopher Bell comes up a little bit short in second place. Kyle Larson got a top 5 out of this in third place. Ty Gibbs finished 4th. Denny Hamlin, who should have won this race in November, finished 5th. Bubba Wallace recovers to finish 6th, as is William Byron in 7th. Tyler Reddick's bid for 4 in a row ends with an 8th place finish. Michael McDowell finishes 9th. And surprisingly, Eric Jones from Legacy Motor Club gets a top 10 result in 10th place. Team Penske also won the IndyCar race on Saturday, which means that they got to sweep the weekend. If I were to give this race a rating, I'd give it a C. Phoenix is one of those tracks where it's a much better show in person than it is on TV. The TV doesn't show the different elevation changes on the front and back stretch. It also doesn't show the cars speeding up and hitting the brakes quickly. It's very dramatic in person, but on TV it's hardly noticeable. So, where are we off to next weekend? Well, are you feeling lucky? Because we're going to Sin City. That's right. The second stop in the NASCAR Goes West Tour takes us to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Truck Series, surprisingly, will not race this weekend. On Saturday will be the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and on Sunday will be the Cup Series. Some fans argue that this weekend is the true start of the NASCAR season, because after the glitz and glamour of the Daytona 500, the wackiness of the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the road course shenanigans of COTA, Phoenix represents more of the bread and butter tracks that make up most of the NASCAR schedule. I kind of agree, although I strongly lean towards Las Vegas being the true start of the season. But again, that's just me.